It began like any other day in the desert. Silent winds rushing over sand dunes, and the golden sun burning quietly overhead. A secret Israeli weapons convoy, loaded with advanced missiles and armored supplies, moved steadily toward a classified base near the border. But far above the clouds, hidden from every radar, death had taken flight. Iranian fighter, jet sleek, silent, and unstoppably emerged without warning. Not a single signal. No time to react. Suddenly, the silence shattered. A deafening roar echoed through the sky as the first missile launched. Boom! The earth trembled. A direct hit. Flames erupted from one of the lead trucks, followed by chaos in every direction. Soldiers scrambled for cover, some shouting orders, others frozen in fear. The convoy's escort tanks tried to reposition, but the jets were too fast, too precise. Another missile struck, then another. Within seconds, the entire column was under siege from above. Iran wasn't just flexing its power. This was a surgical strike. Every jet maneuvered with frightening accuracy, each missile guided with ruthless purpose. Within minutes, several vehicles had been reduced to burning skeletons of steel. The sand, once golden, was now blackened with smoke and fire. From the sky, Iran was rewriting the battlefield. This was no mere attack. It was a message carved in fire. The days of quiet observation are over. Despite the sudden assault, the Israeli forces attempted to regroup. They launched anti-air defenses, scattered their vehicles, and tried to form a response. But the damage had already been done. The convoy was crippled. The skies had turned red, and the shockwaves of this strike were felt far beyond the battlefield. As the jets retreated into the clouds as quickly as they had appeared, one truth remained clear: this was only the beginning of something far greater and far more dangerous. Just hours after the skies went silent, the desert began to tremble again. But this time, the threat wasn't from above. It was coming straight from the ground. Iran's ground forces, reinforced by a fleet of next-generation battle tanks, moved in with surgical precision. These tanks were not ordinary. They were engineered for desert warfare, equipped with reactive armor, heat-sensing scopes, and long-range strike capability. From a distance, they rolled like shadows across the sand. Slow, powerful, unstoppable. Israeli surveillance drones caught a glimpse. But it was too late. The tanks were already within striking range. Then came the command. Advance, engage the enemy. The roar of cannons echoed like thunder. One by one, Israeli outpost positions were struck. Flames rose. Communication lines were cut. Retaliation was scattered and panicked. Iranian forces used the terrain to their advantage, hiding behind dunes and striking with brutal precision. Tank versus tank. The battlefield became a clash of titans. Israel's defensive perimeter collapsed rapidly. Backup units tried to arrive, but the sand was already soaked in smoke and steel. Explosions turned the desert into a storm of metal. The convoy's survivors attempted to flee, but the Iranian advance was relentless. Every path of retreat had been anticipated. This was a well-planned offensive, months, perhaps years in the making. But beyond the destruction, something else was becoming clear. The balance of power in the region was shifting. Fast, Iran had proven not only its military capability, but also its strategic intelligence. They didn't just attack their own, they controlled the air. And now they were claiming the ground. By the time the battle slowed, very little remained of the Israeli convoy. The desert was quiet once again, but it was the kind of quiet that follows only after devastation. A silence, heavy with the knowledge that a new chapter of conflict had begun.